Home Staging Conference 2025, day one.
Today's the workshop day. We're very excited and we're ready to go.
Come with us.
I did it again. Who told you that I was finished? Fresh off the plane with a new mani-pedi.
Cody, we're at the workshop. Jake's presenting / getting people to do stuff now.
Yeah.
You're next.
I am next.
What do you got? Can you give us a little
So
preview?
Jake's put everyone to sleep. My session's going to be much more interesting. We're going to get everyone in the room to ideally make a reel.
Fire. Who's that girl? That's me. I'm on fire. I'm a hot girl. I'm a hot girl. I get anything I want. This is my world. I make big moves in my big.
Phoebe, we day one conference. Where are we? What's going on?
We've done session one. We had Holly up on stage. She's amazing and have almost 200 of us in the room. The energy is awesome. I loved Holly. I love talking about risk taking and recognising where maybe I just need to take that little extra step and not to be scared to do the things I'm scared about, but really protecting my high energy zone and giving myself a chance to down regulate, which I don't do very often, and it's definitely not a non-negotiable in my routine, and I'm going to make sure it is.
Anything I want. This is my world. I make big moves in my big heels. Since the day that I was born, I've been a big deal.
2025 Australian Home Staging Conference. We are a week and a bit out. In this Foxy TV episode / podcast, we are going to be running through just a bit of a recap to gather the thoughts. Now we've had a bit of a breather and we've got you back into work and whatnot. So let's just jump right in. Mitch has got some questions and I will tackle them. So workshop. We had a workshop day before conference day 1 and 2.
Yeah, we did.
What made it different to the conference day 1 and 2?
So we had heaps of feedback from the conference last year that a lot of people wanted a tangible, a day where we could work on the business, but get into the nitty gritty of running the business and have the freedom to be able to ask questions. And I guess a lot of them said access to us and just have those conversations. So that's why we created the day.
Yep.
So I think the difference between the 2 days, it was the information that was given was more business related.
More tactical.
Yep.
Well, it was more specific to the industry, whereas the rest of the conference was, a lot of it was more mindset and more leadership, all that sort of thing. So it was more in the detail.
And the questions that were asked, especially during our open Q&A forum, they were completely different to the questions that were asked and the information given over the next 2 days too.
Yep. And I think the takeaways were supposed to, and it seems like this was the case, but I think the takeaways were more practical as well. It was like things that I'm gonna go and start tracking these numbers, or here's the video that I put together, or
These suppliers want to reach out to them.
It was more, the actual day-to-day sort of operations.
And I think there was about 110 people.
116, I think it was.
116
Yeah.
compared to the nearly 200 in the conference on the following 2 days.
Yeah.
In terms of feedback, did you get much feedback on that day particularly yet? Or was
We haven't set the survey out yet.
Yeah.
That's going out soon. But after the first day, we had a lot of people come up because we had drinks at the bar afterwards.
Yes.
Had a lot of people say how much they took from it.
Yep.
But then after the next 2 days, I got lots of great feedback, but not specifically about one thing or another.
Cool. How different, apart from maybe the workshop, how different was the conference from the first edition in 2024?
I think in a lot of ways it was the same, or similar at least.
Why change it if it works?
The workshop day was obviously a big extra thing that we did. I would say the kind of networking side of things was similar during the day, but we had the dinner was very different. You know, it was more of the yacht club party vibe. It was, I think that kind of got people to loosen up a lot more than maybe what the dinner did last year. The topics themselves on the main event were very similar, different speakers, which is always a good thing, but it was, I don't know, I guess it was very similar.
I think we went to the dinner the first year, but some of the feedback again, we tried to take on all the feedback, was that it didn't feel like a special thing. It didn't feel intentional. It just wasn't much. So it was an amazing venue, year one, but it just wasn't much. So we changed the structure and the ticket price to incorporate Yacht Club for everybody, and that environment where the start and finish and everybody goes away on, like, obviously you can't get off the boat. That really helped, along with a photo booth. That's always going to help things too. Yeah. So that would be the biggest change, I'd say, to year one. But yeah, the actual, and the workshop day. But the speakers, when you don't...
In the venue to some degree as well, like...
We upped the whole level.
Outside of the sessions themselves, like people were getting together at the bar, like say, the resort. I think we had quite a few people stay at the venue last year, but you didn't know that because it was a hotel and people kind of wandered around South Bank by themselves, whereas this year everybody's most people were at the venue. So outside of the sessions themselves, people kind of just hung out.
That's good.
In terms of the community, the people attending, pretty similar to last. Obviously, there was a few more people, but similar vibes, similar businesses, ratio of employees versus owners, pretty similar.
We had some more employees attend this year, which was awesome to see. Some of the owners bringing along their employees. So there were some people we had a couple of people with at least 5 people from their team attend, which was pretty cool. We had only 20 people from year 1 not attend this year. And what was really cool is they all reached out to let us know, sorry, we'll 100% be there next year. We just can't be there this year, which was really nice. But otherwise, the room, the collaborative nature, I think this year we were like community over competition. And that I think that defines that room really, really well.
I would say, I don't know if you feel this as well, but it felt like there was maybe some more newer starters as well earlier in the business, whereas last year we definitely had them, but I know that last year the intention was for this to be a conference for established businesses, those trying to scale, those that were actually leading people, whereas there were more new businesses or didn't have employees yet. Like there was a few more of those. It wasn't the majority of the room, but
I think I counted at least 6 just from who I talked to who are in their first 12 to 14 months of business. Some of those in it very new.
But how awesome, when you're at that stage of business, you don't normally take the time to do the learning or take a moment to look at the business. You're just in it. So it's so awesome that those people gave themselves that opportunity.
By just attending there, the people they're meeting, the suppliers, the relationships with everyone, the knowledge that they're fast tracking.
For sure.
And hopefully
some of the mistakes they're not going to, they're going to be able to avoid. Your biggest takeaways, or like what were some of the most important conversations you had?
I don't know if it's a particular conversation, but probably the biggest takeaway is almost a reminder of how people, I'm not even sure how to say it, but like how people see us reinforces what we should be trying to do. So it's like we're quite good at a lot of things at Foxy, and from the outside, when people are only watching our social media or seeing us on stage or hearing us, they assume that everything's perfect, and it's certainly not. But it gives, I walked away thinking, we're good at a lot of things, but man, we could do even better based on the people in the room, the sort of conversations you have, listening to other people who do it differently. Maybe it's not about copying, but it's just more of a motivation to say we're already doing really well, but we can do even better as well.
Yep. I took that Jake's a pretty solid blue.
Yeah, navy blue.
Yeah.
Blue
personality.
I think Chris Helder was one of a big memorable speaker, and the things he spoke about were fantastic. Amanda, I love her stuff on keeping that, like the relationship you have with your client, the ongoing relationship that you have with them. We've spoken about that a lot.
Yeah, I'm disappointed we didn't quite get the end of her presentation.
Well, we actually, for everybody who attended, we've got the video snippet that she sent through, and we'll be sending that to everybody. We have the ending, and she sent through a gift for everybody, so that will be emailed out. And then obviously with Holly, the down regulation side of things, I'm very bad at that. So giving myself a moment, but I'm definitely not jumping into the Arctic water. Not happening.
No.
How would you do that?
I thought you were doing a play on words there with our other business. I was like, you're not jumping. Wait, what?
No, like the cold water she jumped into.
I've got a nice bath at home. I haven't set it up yet. My biggest takeaway was, not biggest, but one of my takeaways was I feel like as an industry we all need to level up a bit. I think a lot of it, like Jake did a lot on numbers and like the survey and the results. People just don't know their numbers. And then you hear Jeff and Lauren from Bowerbird speak and the management and processes they have in place and the knowledge they have. And I'm just like, I think a lot of people in the room have all got to lift up professionalism a bit. All right, next topic, the networking opportunities. Did we have enough of them, do you think? Why are they just as important as the sessions?
Oh, absolutely. We definitely did.
I think so, yeah.
We, like, obviously the times that we met after the conference, but the networking opportunities in between, I definitely not surprising. We managed to talk to a lot of people between the three of us, right? And I think that was one of the favourite parts of most people.
We're very intentional about that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the venue, the resort, every night people were down at the bar having drinks, which is like really awesome to see.
They did shut up early, those bars.
A couple of times they did. The
About
last
7 o'clock,
night we were there quite late, like after the conference.
Yeah, they were there for a while.
For those that didn't head straight home. But we're very intentional about the breaks as well. So compared to a lot of conferences that do, your 15-minute, 20-minute breaks, get in, get a coffee, get toilet and back into your seat. We did the opposite. We're 45 minutes sort of morning tea breaks and hour-long lunch. Like, it's intentional so that people can mingle and chat and ask questions. Like,
And talk to suppliers.
Talk to suppliers, watch, the truck loading demonstrations, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's a big part of the way that we structure it.
Yeah. I remember having those discussions going into year one, the first conference, and we knew that was important. Obviously, we did, but Mitch has got the question. Did we get any feedback? What was the general feedback? Anything maybe will change for next year? Obviously, we've got the survey coming out soon, and anyone watching, listening, please fill that out once we send it for your feedback. Be honest. But in terms of feedback on the whole event,
Everything was that the venue was better.
Yep.
The food, everything was awesome. They really loved the venue. A lot of people really liked the venue.
Yep.
They liked, I don't know when they're talking to me whether they liked Sanctuary Cove or they liked the Gold Coast. So there were a couple of people that said keep this vibe but and keep the Gold Coast but go somewhere else. So for us though, I think I'd like our trade expo to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at. So we are looking at a bigger space for next year. Not huge because I love the 200 number. I love how intentional that is, but also the energy that creates, having people there that who genuinely want to be there. So I don't see we're not going to go up to like 500 or anything crazy like that, but it was a good balance.
Yeah, I think overall, like I said, we haven't got all the feedback yet. And we're going to be intentional about making sure that we capture all the feedback across a range of different things like speakers, venue, topics, all of the things. But the general feedback in person that we were getting was all,
Positive.
for the most part, positive, or almost overwhelmingly positive. I can't even think of anything in particular at this stage that we think that will change. I think it'll be
the trade expo. That's what I
aside
want
from
to
that
change.
time, and that was probably less about feedback and more about
What I'd like.
what you'd like, what the suppliers you would get out of it, and also just the demand, almost like the amount of suppliers who at the last, right in the last couple of weeks, came out and wanted to be involved, and it was almost too late at that point to make it work. So, but yeah, like you said, I think we want to leave room for growth in terms of the number of people who can attend without, going too big, but also without capping it. We don't want people to miss out. It's it's supposed to be for the community and the industry. So, as the industry grows, we would like this one to grow as well.
I really liked the yacht club. I really liked that there was everyone come. It felt like a big party celebration. But I reckon push back the next day half an hour to let us sleep.
Give us a little extra time. There's a few people.
Maybe that's more us because we have to get up we have to be there a little bit
earlier.
A bit
Well,
more organised.
so I did have one bit of feedback that you mentioned.
And I don't want to speak after Chris.
Which was they wanted.
That was not a good
And I don't want to
sorry.
speak after yacht club either. So definitely the first day if I'm ever presenting again. So I'm appreciative of that.
Somebody did suggest putting yacht club on the first night because it lets everybody
right.
loosen up and get to know each other. But then I thought that's the upside. The downside is day one of the
Who wants to be there?
slow to get moving.
Yeah,
So,
I had another person say put it on the last night. I was like, well, then a lot of people probably leaving.
yeah.
So I like it. I think
I had a lot of people actually think that we didn't realise we were going on a boat.
right.
We put a lot of stuff
It's
out,
called
but
Yacht Club.
Well, they thought it was a club on the water.
Okay. I mean, we did
So
a
when we
lot
rocked up and jumped on a boat, they were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" So
There was a big photo on the website. I guess some people just don't
People
know.
busy. They don't have time to look at all the details.
That's fair. Just common challenges or themes you've heard from people throughout the weekend?
well, definitely New Zealand. This has been covered a number of times. Pricing, lots of conversation about that, but it's a big, scary move, and it'll just make a world of difference. So I guess the confidence building to get to the point of being able to, as a collective, increase their pricing. Then it's sort of common. We had those coffee cups. So what were they? Staffing.
I can't remember. Sourcing stock, staffing,
Leadership.
competition and pricing, leadership.
So they're the four most common things that we get asked about. It definitely was reflective at the conference.
Yeah, I think same as last year, it just reinforces that everybody has the same sort of problems. To different levels, depending on what stage of your business you're at and growth. Some things are more of a challenge than others, but all of them are relevant across the industry.
So I mentioned, and you guys mentioned, we will be sending an email out shortly.
Yeah.
So please, anyone listening, watching, please complete that. Give us your feedback. We made lots of changes for 2025 based on the feedback from 2024. And Mitch has got here announcing 2026 exclamation mark. So obviously we
Nothing to announce yet.
Nothing to announce, but it
Watch
will be.
this space.
It will be on.
We can announce that it is happening.
Yeah.
And hopefully, because hopefully those dates will stay the same, because the February 20th, 21st, they're actually the same next year.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely put that out. Let us go through the cyclone.
And then probably next week you'll get an email from us, get it all out and get it all collated, and then we can go from there.
We're going to start looking at options, and once we get the feedback from everybody who attended as well, that might influence some things as well. So we'll get that back and then we'll announce.
But we are staying in Southeast Queensland.
Yes.
We are.
Yeah.
Apologies to those that would like us to go either south or somebody suggested Vegas. I don't think we'll be looking at Vegas just yet.
It'd be a small conference for the Australian contingent, I think, Australia, New Zealand.
It would be a
20
tricky
or
thing to organise, and also I don't know how kids would feel about that. So it's definitely staying in Southeast Queensland. We're still looking at Gold Coast because I think there was a common feel that was a really great area, the vibe of it, to be able to move away and feel like you're working on your business in a retreat space. Also, the accessibility was great in between the two airports. So that's sort of the feedback we've got so far on it. So
in terms of our social media, please keep an eye on the social media. We've got so much content. We filmed ridiculous amounts. The team did an awesome job, which we're planning on posting at least 2 reels each week to be honest, it will probably last us the whole year. Whereas last year we gapped for about 6 months. We just went quiet on that page. So keep it on social media, keep engaging. Let us know if you've got questions. We've got the Jake's survey report to come out in a few weeks' time or whenever we get around to that as well. And that'll be on that page too. So thanks everyone for the questions. Thanks for attending, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome.